Hey everyone, welcome back to the Soundbite. My name is Andrew, and today we're going to be jumping into some Queensryche here today for the first, well, not for the first time, the second time. I actually checked out a couple of tracks from them before, actually, from the Operation Mindcrime album. I thought I'd check out something different. This one's from the Empire album, which is the fourth studio album by Queensryche, released in 1990, and apparently the most successful one as well. I always thought Operation Mindcrime was the biggest album, but apparently, according to some information that I found about the album, this is actually the most commercially successful album from Queensryche. So I thought I'd check it out. This is the title track and the official music video for Empire. Never heard this song, never heard the this album at all, and I've never seen the video, so this will be a first time reaction. I've kind of been meaning to check out some different bands that I've always kind of dismissed, you know. I've done it so many times where I've dismissed a band and kind of came back again to them and then found out that I was actually a bit of a fan of them, you know. So I thought I'd give Queensryche a go and see if I can sort of get into them a bit more, you know. I've always kind of had the mindset that they were a prog sort of band, but a lot of the comments from the previous videos that I've done before were suggesting that they weren't really a prog band, so I'm not really sure where I got that label from. I guess the concept album, like on Operation Mindcrime, was maybe suggesting to me that they were a prog band, because that's sort of a trademark of a lot of prog bands. It's conceptual albums, you know, where albums sort of tell a story from start to finish. But anyway, let's get into this one. This is Empire from Queensryche. Let's get into it. Certainly has a bit of that sort of 80s flavour, of course. When I think of 80s bands, Queensryche is definitely one of them. Sort of away from the glam stuff, if you know what I mean, though.
Last night the working dawn, Tim Dan and Chinatown.
Jeff Tate there with long hair. At what point did he cut his hair? Anyone know? Let me know.
What's wrong with the kids today? I tell you right now, they've got nothing to lose. They're building empire. Johnny used to work after school, after set on the show. Gotta hustle if he wants an education. Yeah, it's got a long way to go. Now he's out on the streets all day, selling crack to the people who pay. Got an AK-47 for his best friend. Business, the American way.
Guess this song's a bit of a statement on drugs, the drug industry.
Black man trapped again, holds his chains in his hand.
That's what I noticed in the other video that I did for Queensryche. The name that escapes me now, but the music video definitely had a rich sort of story to it, and I kind of feel like this is happening here as well. I guess I don't watch a lot of music videos these days, I guess, so I'd have to kind of really kind of go back into that sort of world, but I guess back in the day, you know, a lot of music videos did have this kind of like the concept of storytelling and stuff, you know, which is not necessarily always to the song itself lyrically, you know, because sometimes I feel like a lot of the videos are kind of like an interpretation of the lyrics that the songwriter was singing about or writing about. And, you know, whatever, the music director, whatever, decided to have this sort of different sort of, you know, narration to the actual song itself, which is really cool. You know, you sort of like get sort of different viewpoints of a you know, a story, I guess, you know. But I definitely feel like a lot of the videos from back in the day were definitely all about sort of, yeah, apart from the real fun ones, obviously with the 80s stuff, you know, with the glam rock and Poison and Motley Crue did all these sort of fun sort of videos. Then there were these sort of videos where there was a story sort of like set in there, like there was almost like a short film or something, you know, so with the music sort of in the background, almost like a soundtrack, really. So I guess there's that way of doing music videos, you know. So, and I don't know if that's still much of a thing these days, or if it's more sort of band performances and animation and things like that, you know. So yeah, very vocal oriented sort of song, a lot of power chords, so a lot of empty space for Jeff to kind of do his thing, which makes sense, because I always feel like Jeff has been, you know, he was sort of like the main star of that band, I guess. You know, the vocals was really the focal point for Queensryche, I always felt, even though they had a lot of like interesting guitar parts, you know, from the stuff that I've heard anyway, you know. So but yeah, it's interesting so far. I want to see where the actual video is going though. A lot of groove in the drums, really cool. Love the drum sound as well.
In fiscal year 1986 to 87, local, state, and federal governments spent a combined total of $16.6 billion on law enforcement. Federal law enforcement expenditures ranked last in absolute dollars and accounted for only 6% of all federal spending. By way of comparison, the federal government spent $24 million more on space exploration and 43 times more on national defense and international relations than on law enforcement.
Yeah, obviously it's about the war on drugs and all that, which was a big thing in the 80s, you know. It was all about, you know, getting rid of drugs and a lot of the, you know, whatever the stuff was at the time, you know. Sadly, though, it's still a big thing, you know. It's really sort of obviously changed in different ways, obviously different sort of drugs that are out there, but it's never gone away. In fact, some people might even say it's actually worse now than before, you know, but I've seen some little documentaries and stuff about it, and it's interesting how it kind of it never seems to go away. It just changes and evolves and stuff, but it never disappears. And so all this money that's going on, you know, into like the drug war essentially, it seems like it's almost a waste, you know. So I mean, I guess you got to do something, right? But I don't know what the solution is. But whatever they're trying to do, the governments and stuff. It's clearly not working, because at the end of the day, people just want to do what they want to do. I guess the argument of, you know, legalizing drugs always pops up around this sort of subject, you know, and I don't know, like maybe it would solve some of the problems, but maybe it would increase it, I don't know. It's certainly an interesting topic to discuss, and a very interesting debate as well to have. But all I know is that it's just for as long as I've been around, it's always been a problem, you know. So, and especially in the music world, you know, it's a huge thing, obviously, you know. And I guess this is the story here is like the war on drugs and the failure and the amount of money that's been used and stuff, you know. It's yeah, certainly a somewhat political statement, I guess, that Queensryche here are making. I know Jeff is sort of I think he's sort of had some sort of opinions on certain things, you know, over the years, you know, and I'm sure the rest of the band members have as well. So, you know, I've never really pinned, you know, Queensryche has been a political band or anything like that, you know, but I think things like these are certainly an interesting topic to discuss, you know. There we go. There's Queensryche there with Empire, official music video from the album Empire, which was released in 1990. So I definitely want to check more of that stuff out. There's certainly an element of mellowness in a lot of their songs, I feel, or at least the ones that I've checked out so far. So they're not kind of a full-on, like, super rock heavy kind of band, you know. They're sort of almost like a power ballad sort of mixed in with sort of melodic sort of rock stuff, you know. So melodic rock, I guess, is probably the best way to describe them, which is far different to what I thought they were, which was obviously a prog band, you know. But like I said before, people have said in the comments and some of the other videos I've done that they're not really a prog band, so I have no idea where I got that from. But anyway, there you go. This Queensryche with Empire. Thank you for tuning in as always, and please subscribe if you haven't. Thank you to all those who have subscribed. If there's any more Queensryche stuff you want me to check out, let me know. I know there's been suggestions to check out a band called Fate's Warning, which is somewhat related to Queensryche, so I definitely have that on my list, and I want to do a deep dive into that band as well. It's a band I have heard, but I've never really taken the time to listen to any of their stuff before, so I will definitely be checking some of that stuff out. Yeah, so thanks again, and I will see you in the next video.